Continuation po ng ating discussion. Sa number 31 natin, nakita natin description of a protozoan trophozoite. An amoebic trophozoite with progressive directional motility, evenly distributed peripheral chromatin, finely granular cytoplasm. Ito pong mga description nito fits the description of the trophozoite of histolytica. Hindi po pwedeng coli kasi si coli sluggish, non-directional motility at ang chromatin po niya coarse and evenly arranged peripheral chromatin. Correct answer number 31, letter B. Progressive directional motility, evenly distributed chromatin, and amoeba histolytica. Correct answer 31B. Number 32, acanthamoeba. Huwag kakalimutan. Remember, this can be acquired from contaminated contact lens care solution. Ito po yung mga homemade saline-based contact lens care solution. Saan pinapatubo po ang acanthamoeba? Sa seeded agar. An agar flooded with 24-hour growth of Escherichia coli. Correct answer number 32, letter C. Again, acanthamoeba, keratitis associated with contaminated contact lens care solution. The organism can be cultured on an agar plate flooded with 24-hour growth of Escherichia coli. Correct answer 32, letter C. 33 na mention po Cryptosporidium, a coccidian. Ano po yung stain for demonstration of coccidian? Huwag po malilito. Pag na-mention po yung coccidian, they can be demonstrated with a modified acid fast stain. Ano pong difference dito sa original acid fast stain? May weaker decolorizer. A weaker decolorizer. Sulfuric acid. Unlike yung original acid fast stain na hydrochloric acid. For demonstration naman po ng microsporidian, anong stain ang gamit po natin? Modified trichrome stain. Again, for coccidian like Cryptosporidium, the modified acid fast stain, anong difference po nito sa original acid fast stain? Weaker yung kanyang decolorizer. Wala pong sasagot ng modified trichrome kasi modified trichrome for microsporidian. Yung modified trichrome naman po contains 10 times more dye compared sa original trichrome. Coccidian, the modified acid fast stain. Microsporidian, the modified trichrome stain. Pictures po na nakuha ko po sa CDC na website. Ito po picture po ng Cryptosporidium using a modified acid fast stain. They stain light pink to bright red with the use of a modified acid fast stain. Kapag wala pong modified acid fast, wala pong sasagot ng modified trichrome. Pwede po tayong sumagot ng fluorescent stain. Or DFA, direct fluorescent assay. Gold standard, considered as gold standard by many laboratories because of high sensitivity and high specificity for diagnosis of Cryptosporidium infection. Number 34, which technique is used to detect DNA containing a specific base sequence by applying label probe to DNA bands immobilized into a nitrocellulose paper following electrophoresis. Huwag kakalimutan po, for DNA and DNA fragment, southern blot. For RNA and RNA fragment, northern blot. For proteins, western blot. Remember, antibodies are glycoprotein. So, for antibodies, for protein, Western blot. Ang palatandaan po dito, so correct answer, ang tanong po, DNA and DNA fragment, DNA bands, Southern blot. Ang palatandaan po dito, snowdrop. Southern blot for DNA and DNA fragments, Northern blot for RNA and RNA fragments, Western blot for proteins. Huwag niyo pong kakalimutan yung snowdrop. Next, what is the unique characteristic of the DNA's polymerase, tag polymerase used in PCR? Bakit po siya tinawag na tag polymerase? Kasi obtained po from Thermus aquaticus. Ano pong characteristic nito? It should be heat stable. Kung matatandaan po yung 3-step ng PCR involve heating, denaturation, annealing, extension, or elongation. Denaturation at a temperature of 94 degrees Celsius to separate or denature the DNA fragment into single strand, annealing at 50 to 58 degrees Celsius, extension or elongation at 72 degrees Celsius. Nung student po ako, ang palatandaan ko, sa PCR, yung DNA po dito ay pinapadahi. Correct answer 35, letter C. Next, 36. Kapag na-mention po ang amplification, ano po yung primary error? In amplification technique, for example, PCR, contamination. Now, ngayon naman po ang question is, how do we avoid or prevent contamination? So, ang sagot po dito, all of this. Use of bleach, use of UV light, maintain a close analytical system. So, correct answer, all of this. Again, primary error involved in amplification technique, contamination. To avoid contamination, bleach, UV light, and maintenance of a closed analytic system. Correct answer 36, letter D. Number 37. Which of the following electrophoretic result is consistent with diagnosis of sickle cell trait? Huwag pong malilito ha. Ang pinag-uusapan po natin ngayon, sickle cell trait, iba po to sa sickle cell anemia. Unahin ko po muna yung sickle cell. Anemia. Pag sinabi pong sickle cell anemia, 80 to 100% patient's hemoglobin consists of which hemoglobin? Hemoglobin S, with only some hemoglobin F and hemoglobin A2. So, in sickle cell anemia, what is the major hemoglobin? Hemoglobin S. Ang pinag-uusapan po ngayon, hindi po sickle cell anemia, kundi sickle cell trait. In sickle cell trait, huwag pong kakalimutan, 55 to 60% of the patient's hemoglobin consists of the adult hemoglobin, with only 40 to 45% hemoglobin S. In sickle cell trait, what is the major hemoglobin? Still the adult hemoglobin, hemoglobin A1. Inulit ko po, pag sinabi pong sickle cell anemia, 80, 90, 200% patient's hemoglobin consists of hemoglobin S with some hemoglobin F and hemoglobin E2, in contrast with sickle cell trait. In sickle cell trait, 55 to 60% consists of the adult hemoglobin, hemoglobin A1, with only 40 to 45% hemoglobin S. In sickle cell trait, what is the major hemoglobin? Still the adult hemoglobin, hemoglobin A1. So, ano pong tamang sagot dito? Correct answer B. 55 to 60% adult hemoglobin and only 40 to 45% hemoglobin S in sickle cell trait. Correct answer, 37, letter B. Number 38, ang pinag-uusapan po dito, cellulose acetate, hemoglobin electrophoresis. Ito po yung nakita niyo po dito. It is done at what pH? It is done at an alkaline pH, pH of 8.4 in other books, pH of 8.6. At this pH, yung mga hemoglobin po are negatively charged, they migrate towards the positive electrode. Huwag pong kakalimutan yung palatandaan po natin at from fastest to slowest, yung AFAT, Santa Claus. Hemoglobin C co-migrate with AO and A2. Remember, yung first pattern po dito, ito po yung normal pattern. Remember, 95 or over 95% adult hemoglobin consists of hemoglobin A1 with only less than 1% or less than 2% hemoglobin F and 1.5 to 3% hemoglobin A2. So, ito po ito. The normal electrophoretic pattern, 95 or greater hemoglobin A1, 1 to 2% hemoglobin F, 1.5 to 3% hemoglobin A2. In beta thalassemia trait, depressed po dito yung beta chain, kaya kakaunti po yung amount ng hemoglobin A1. Dahil po dito, elevated ang hemoglobin F at saka hemoglobin A2. F, alpha, gamma, A2, alpha, delta. Wala po silang beta chain. In contrast with beta thalassemia major, kung mapapansin po, wala po itong beta chain. So, dito po wala pong adult hemoglobin or hemoglobin A1, pero increase ang F tsaka A2. F, alpha, gamma, A2, alpha, delta. Wala pong beta chain. In sickle cell anemia, binigyan ko po ng emphasis yung hemoglobin S. 80, 90 to 100% patients hemoglobin consists of hemoglobin S with some hemoglobin F and hemoglobin A2. In sickle cell trait, still the predominant hemoglobin is hemoglobin A1. 55 to 60% of the patient's hemoglobin consists of hemoglobin A1 with some F and A2 and 40 to 45% hemoglobin S. In sickle cell trait, (55 to 60% of the patient's hemoglobin consists of hemoglobin A1 and 40 to 45% hemoglobin S. Kitang-kita naman po, may hemoglobin S pero ang predominant hemoglobin pa rin po ang hemoglobin A1 in sickle cell trait. In sickle cell anemia, wala pong hemoglobin A1, 90, 80, 90 to 100% patient's hemoglobin consists of which hemoglobin? Hemoglobin S with some hemoglobin F and hemoglobin A2 in sickle cell anemia. Huwag mong kakalimutan. Next, number 38, a patient with normal chromosome has a WBC count of 3 times 10 to the 9 power per liter, medyo mababa po, and dysplasia in all cell line. There are 60% blasts of varying sizes. The blast being positive for CD41. Huwag kakalimutan yung mga platelet antigen CD41, CD42B, and CD61. These are marker for platelet or its precursor, the megakaryocyte. So, anong type of leukemia to? M7 or acute megakardioblastic leukemia. Correct answer, 38, letter B. Number 39, polycythemia vera. Huwag pong kakalimutan, primary absolute, polycythemia. In polycythemia vera, Panhyperplasia, bakit? Elevated po lahat ng blood cell, both sa bone marrow at saka peripheral blood. Elevated po dito yung mga red cell, elevated po dito yung mga WBC, at elevated po dito yung mga platelet. Pero huwag kakalimutan, in polycythemia vera, decrease po ang erythropoietin. Bakit? Ito po yung proof ng polycythemia vera sa myeloproliferative disorder. Nasaan po ang defect? Nasa mismong bone marrow ng patient. So, huwag kakalimutan kapag na-mention po, increase RBC but decrease erythropoietin, huwag kakalimutan polycythemia vera. Vera for true polycythemia. Number 40, relative polycythemia. Lecture po natin to sa ating hima kamakailan. Relative polycythemia, naalala niyo po, mataas ang kanyang hematocrit, pero normal ang kanyang RBC mass. Paano nangyari na mataas ang kanyang hematocrit? Mataas ang kanyang hematocrit not because of increased red cell mass but because of decreased plasma volume. Example of condition associated with relative polycythemia, dehydration. So, increased hematocrit not because of increased red cell mass but because of decreased plasma volume, for example, in dehydration. Ngayon, paano nyo po ito i-differentiate from absolute polycythemia or BC mass? Of course, in absolute polycythemia, there is an increase in hematocrit because of an increase in RBC mass. Salamat po. Correct answer number 40, letter B.